welcome to Level Up IAS and welcome back to 10-minute series. Today in this video we're going to look at a topic which is often neglected by students but is very relevant for your exams both from mains and prelims point of view. That is political associations which were formed before Congress. Okay, so let's start. Before we start, I have given you one mains question. I want you to write down the answer in the comment section and we will evaluate your answers. Similarly, I have given you one MCQ to attempt. You can mark your answers in the comment section. So now let's start. Characteristics of political associations which were formed in the first half of the 19th century. Here we are talking about the period 1800 to 1850. Okay, the main characteristic of this is that they were dominated by the wealthy and the aristocrat people. This is very important. Second important characteristic is that they were local in character and they were restricted to a particular area where they were formed and not to an all India level or to a state level. It was not that. It was just the organization where it was formed, it was having impact in that local area itself. Another thing is that they were secular in form. Okay, now see, if you see the organizations which were formed before 1800, they had religious ideologies. Okay, so they were more or less religious in character, but organizations that were formed after 1800, they had different goals. They had more of economic goals or social goals. So as a result, it was more or less secular in form. So this is very important, secular in form. Now, what was their main aim? It was increasing the Indian association in the administration, spreading of education, and another important characteristic that you can write down here is safeguarding the interests of themselves. Like these were wealthy people, aristocrats, so they wanted their interests to be protected. So that is what their aim was also. Okay, so now look at some examples of the organization. Landholder Society. This society was formed in 1838 by Dwarkanath Tagore in Bengal. Okay, now see, this organization was also called as Zamindari Association. This is important, can be asked, so you need to remember it. Now another important thing, what was their main aim, was to safeguard the interest of landlords or themselves, which I've already told you about is their main aim. Okay, so this is very important. Now look, coming to the second organization, that is Bengal British India Society. It was formed in Bengal in 1843 by George Thompson. Okay, this is important, George Thompson, so you need to remember. Now what was the aim of this organization? Their main aim was to collect the information of the people under the British India and decimate their information. How are they living? What is their condition? To collect and disseminate that information. That was their main aim. Okay. Then came the organization British Indian Association. See, Landholder Society and Bengal British India Society. They both were merged and it was formed as British India Association. This is important, can be asked in your exam. It was formed in 1851 at Bengal and Radhakant Deb was its first president. Okay, this is important. Who was the first president of British Indian Association? It was Radhakant Deb. Okay, the main aim, again it's simple, safeguarding their class interest. Okay, so this is very important. Now another important thing with which they worked was they suggested various reforms in the company's upcoming charter. Okay, like they talked about establishment of a separate legislature or separation of judicial functions from executive functions. So these were important and some of them were even accepted in the charter of 1853. Okay, so this is important. Coming to the associations which were formed in the second half of the 19th century, now we are talking about 1850 to 1900. Now see, their main characteristics were see, if you'll talk about the organization from 1800 to 1850, they were dominated by wealthy people and aristocrats, but here it was more or less educated people were dominating it, like lawyers, journalists, doctors, teachers, etc., and not wealthy people. So if educated people are handling or dominating a particular organization, its aim will also be like that. For example, their aim had a wider perspective and a larger agenda than the organizations which were formed in the first half. Earlier organizations were restricted to their class interests, but when we talk about in the second half, it expanded. It was not just class interest, it was societal interest. Okay, so that is important. Now looking at the organizations, first organization that we talk about here is East India Association. It was formed in London in 1866 by Dadabhai Nauroji. He is in himself a very important personality, so you should know which organization was formed by him. It is East India Association. And what is the aim of the organization? It is promoting Indian welfare. Okay, this is very important. Another important thing is its branches was also opened in other Indian cities later on. Okay, so this is important. Coming to the second organization, it is India League. It was established by Sisir Kumar Ghosh in 1875. Okay, and what was the main aim of this organization? It was to instill the feeling of nationalism amongst the people. They should be more or less national, because see, feeling of nationalism came very late in the Indians. They were not talking about ki we are Indians. It was basically I am a Bengali or I am a Maharashtrian. That was the feeling. Indian, being an Indian, it came very late. So establishing that feeling itself was a task. So instilling the feeling of nationalism among the people was a big aim of this organization called India League. Then another important organization which has often been asked in your exam also is Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. It was formed in Pune, as the name suggests, in 1867 by M.G. Ranade. Okay, it's important. Now, what was the main aim of this organization was? It served as a bridge between the government and the people. Okay, what do you mean by serving as the bridge? It was telling the demands of the people to the government, and government's response to that, it was like communicating between the people and the government. That was its main task, serving as a bridge. Okay, then comes Bombay Presidency Association. As the name suggests, it was formed in Bombay. It was formed in 1885, the same year in which Indian National Congress was formed. So this is important. And it was formed by Firosha Mehta, K.T. Telang, and Badruddin Tayyabji. This is important. These three names in itself is important because it can be asked as, for example, Bombay Presidency Association was formed by Firosha Mehta, K.T. Telang, and they can give you four options. So it's not just that you remember Firosha Mehta and it will be done. You have to remember all three: Firosha Mehta, K.T. Telang, and Badruddin Tayyabji. Okay. Now, what was the main reason for its establishment? It was because they were very frustrated with the policies of the Lytton. So, to the reaction of the Lytton policies and to the reaction to the Ilbert Bill controversy, they formed an organization called Bombay Presidency Association. Reaction to Lytton policies as well as a reaction to Ilbert Bill controversy. Tell me in comments what is Ilbert Bill controversy. Okay. Now, another important organization is Madras Mahajan Sabha. It was formed in 1884. As the name suggests, it was formed in Madras itself. It was formed by Vira Raghavachari, P. Anandacharlu, and B. Subramania Iyer. This is important, you need to remember. I know the names are difficult, but you should remember because it can be directly asked. Okay, now what was their aim? It was to solve the problems of the Indians which are faced under the British rule. Okay. Now, another important organization is Indian Association of Calcutta. As the name suggests, formed in Calcutta. Year of establishment is 1876 and it was formed by Surendra Nath Banerjee. Another important personality, Surendra Nath Banerjee. What was the aim? Unifying Indian people on a common political program. Okay, so this is important. Now let's look at the MCQ that I gave you. It says, consider the following statements. The Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was established in 1867 at Pune by M.G. Ranade. Now, if you look at here, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha established in 1867 at Pune by M.G. Ranade. So, all three are correct. So, statement 1 is correct. Now, second statement is East India Association was formed by Dadabhai Naoroji in Bengal. Now, see, here is a catch in this question. If you realize, East India Association was formed by Dadabhai Naoroji, but it was formed in London and not in your Bengal. So, as a result, statement 2 becomes incorrect. So, which of the above statements are correct? Only statement 1 is correct, so A would be the correct option here. Okay, I hope you liked the video and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.